speaking of spending money on
Ammo is expensive.
What's going on with that? Because it was going down, or it seemed to be going down.
It's still going down. Your NATO standard rounds are still going to be the least expensive price points always. We're starting to get a little more stuff in stock, but the sticker shock from people that come in looking for things that maybe they purchase once every 3 years because it's a gun that gets shot so rarely. And now they're seeing that the price on 4440 has jumped significantly, or how come nobody's carrying any of that, 30 super carry? Was that a thing? 30?
Yeah. Well, and it supposed to be the next big thing, but I don't know. Those Wildcat I'd probably pause on Wildcat cartridges, right? But that's just me.
I mean, I love Wildcat cartridges, just they're unusual, but they work best for people who reload, it seems.
True. Or if you have multiple guns, I just happen to have this one as well.
Yeah. What are you gonna do when they discontinue it and you're sitting on a ton of 45 GAP ammo and you don't have any GAP guns to run them through? It's a different caliber. It's not something that's compatible or going to fit in any other firearm that you own. You don't have a big selection to choose from. And some of the brands that you're not as familiar with, some people still come in and say, okay, well, I've never heard of this brand PPU, or I've never used PMC, I've never used Cellier and Below, tell me what you know about MagTech. Like something that some person somewhere in the country thinks is super common, and you get to another place and people are like, well, I've never heard of that, or I've never used that. What's the performance like? It's like, well, like anything else, but once again, never shot your serial numbers, so I can't tell you how your guns will perform with this ammo. It's until you take it out and see, you might find something that works great at a cheaper price point, or maybe not cheaper, let's go for reasonable price point. And you might want to look for the ammo first before you start looking around for the firearms, just to see what's available. That's actually a very good
lesson to learn, unless it's just a NATO standard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you suppose that, because with the variety of ammo, it does feel like you just kind of got to get what you can get, and occasionally get lucky. But would you say most people are probably I just need 9mm, or? Now let me ask you this: anytime we put out a video and we talk about ammo, no matter what we say, there's gonna be a lot of people that are like, totally agree. And then there's a lot of people that are like, like if we say, well, ammo's going down, they'll say, well, it's only going up where I'm at. And then, or we'll say, well, we found a ton of 9mm, and then people say, well, I can't find any 9mm. Obviously you got a regional variable there.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess my question would be, you guys seem to be doing great. As far as ammo goes, is that regional, or is that kind of like what we talked about earlier, relational, like more of the relationships you guys have?
Potentially a little bit of both. It is a regional thing. Some places will get different calibers ahead of other places. Some calibers will always be difficult to find in certain areas. And the relationship that the people on this side of the counter have with the distributors that are sending them the ammo and the manufacturers is huge as well, in playing a part to get some of that stuff. We get calls for ammo and Brian will turn them down, calls for primers, for ammo and stuff, and he's like, my customers will not pay this. I'm not going to, you're robbing us, you're freaking come down on your price and then we'll do business. Let's talk then. But there is kind of you don't want to put stuff on the shelf that's too high. So it's either you have something on the shelf that's going to be absolutely astronomically priced, or you're not going to have it at all. It seems to be where and somewhere in between the two, we're trying to find a balance. But right now it's either way too high for a lot of people, or do without because there's none available. I know there's a chance for improvement there as well.
Sure.
I just don't know
sure.
how long it's going to be till we see that.
I think, they're actually able to catch up, but they have to run most of their machines for NATO right now.
Yeah.
And then they turn them off and switch the pieces out, and they'll run at some 38 specials through there. But
It's kind of, this is what's referred to as seasonal ammo.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a standard manufacturing line pumping out the highest volume seller for whoever their highest bidding customer is.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's the military, then military
which I'm
gets,
sure it is.
or if it's a another manufacturer that's like, okay, now we're just doing this, we want a whole run of this ammunition, this caliber, and you don't get time to switch over the lines. Even if it's just seasonal ammo, might only be made for a month or less, and every how many years does that run go through? Something like along the lines of, some people consider 45 long Colt to be seasonal. Definitely like 4440, 220 Swift, something that's more borderline Wildcat cartridge, something that just does not have as much demand in the market as a standard caliber round. Like, you get a ton of 10 millimeters, 9 millimeters, 45 ACP. You do actually see a lot of 38 special, 357.
That's very much more standard.
But the 45 long Colt variants, the 410 variants, the 44 special, 44 Magnum to some extent, like this stuff, you're not getting as many options from manufacturers. I hate to tell you the prices on some of the stuff that's borderline Wildcat cartridges. People are like, I did not pay this much money for it 5 years ago. Well, yeah.
But in the end, it's really because they're only running a limited quantity of them. So, of course, that has a higher value, and they're really having to turn off their government contracts temporarily just to get that out.
But you still want the money, and if the government contracts are the highest bidder and giving you the most money to run your business and to pay your employees, it's just smart to go with the one that's going to give you the most money
and then
for
just
it.
try to squeeze out the others when you can.
Yep.
Interesting. Now, when you talk about the ammo that's not in as demand, and you kind of brought up the seasonal ammo. Deer ammo, like, that's really, because when you talked about seasonal, you're kind of more like, well, these aren't very much in demand all year long. Whereas in deer ammo, it's really only in demand for like a month a year.
But the manufacturers plan for that. They do.
That's, I guess, my question.
That they will plan for. They know there's a difference between, like, okay, hunting season ammo, there's a swing and a shift as soon as hunting season or a specific type of hunting season comes in, and then you see a swing and a shift in the market, and all of this stuff does become available. It becomes available actually earlier than people will start to shop for it, and a lot of times it will be out of stock by the time people are looking for it.
So go early, like we always say.
Always.
I feel like we've had that kind of a conversation a lot.
Shop early, because you're gonna find it on the shelf. You're just not gonna find it at the time you probably need it.
Absolutely.
And I've heard that before here, just in passing. It's like, oh, where was this ammo when I needed it last year? I'll take 3 boxes, and that way I won't have to go looking for it, and maybe next year I'll start looking earlier again too and pick up another box or 2 depending on how much I shot this year. So that's the smartest way to do it, really. Keep shopping, keep looking, and if you find something at a good price point, snatch it up while it's there.